Okay, so I'm going to do hopefully a quick comparison review between these two saws. One is the Stihl 150 and the other one is the Husqvarna T536. Both pruning saws. Before I do though, I just wanted to touch on something else. I get lots of emails and messages asking or requesting more videos, or asking why I don't make more videos. So I should just point out that firstly, I've got a life outside of making tree videos. I'm doing tree work as well, even though there is well over 100 videos on YouTube of stuff that I've done over the years. So there's that, and secondly, I don't actually make any money from it, unlike some people do. I never signed up to the YouTube partnership thing, whatever it is, where you get money for however many views or whatever it is. I don't know how it works, and then they put adverts on your videos. I mean, sometimes that happens anyway if you breach copyright conditions, but in regards to getting money from YouTube, no, I don't get anything. The videos are basically stuff that I've put on for many years because I think that there's some value in it. You may agree, you may disagree with that, but I'm not one of these people who's desperately trying to get noticed. I don't just pump out videos because I'm trying to make money out of it, because I'm not. I don't sort of use keywords to get more views. I've never asked anybody for any favours. I've never had any favours. I'm not sponsored by anybody. I'm not. I don't post all over YouTube hoping that I'm going to get noticed and hoping that I'm going to get more subscribers. Like I say, I don't use keywords on my videos, just a description of what it is that you're going to watch. So I just wanted to put that out. If I did any of them things, I don't know, I feel like a bit of a fake, to be honest. I'm not saying if you do them things you're a fake, but that's just how it would make me feel. Okay, so anyway, moving on from that, the two saws, which are pretty old news now, to be honest. I'm a bit late coming into this, but I thought I would just give my thoughts on them anyway. I wanted kind of a quieter pruning saw than what I have been using previously. Previously I've used, obviously Stihl 200s, 201s, 020s. More recently the 540 by Husqvarna. And I did start to think that since these smaller, more compact models have come out, that maybe there was something in that. So I read a lot of reviews and stuff, because it was a choice out of the two for me. And there was one guy who did a great review on Husqvarna, which swayed me in that direction first. It was a guy called Terry, I think it might have been TH Tree Services or something like that. And he did a good review, and I was leaning towards the Husqvarna, and then I read up about the Stihl 150 as well, which had countless people just raving about it, how great it is for that purpose, for the purpose of pruning. So yeah, I was still kind of leaning towards Husqvarna, and I mean, this isn't actually mine, I borrowed it. The battery, you kind of have to buy two batteries and a charger. The battery usually lasts about as long as what would a tank of fuel, so if you you alternate, you swap batteries as often as you would fill up with gas and oil, whatever. What really appealed to me about this was the quietness of it. You push a button and away you go. It's fantastic. Especially if you're cutting down protected trees, it's just what you need. Not that I do that, but it's certainly chainsaws have a habit of drawing negative attention, especially early in the morning. So I really like the idea of that. But the price difference, this with the 2 batteries and the charger was something like 1,200 Canadian dollars over here. And the Stihl was coming in between 5 and 6. And the Stihl is really, really light. It's lighter than the Husqvarna. The Husqvarna is nicely balanced, I should say. Even though it's got that bulky battery on the back, it does it balances it out nicely. But the Stihl is so light that you can climb with it and that you don't even notice. Not that the likes of 200T or 201 is particularly heavy. And you might think, well, how much difference can it make? I'll tell you what, it does actually make a difference. Especially if you're pruning large trees and you're having to access wide positions on the canopy or whatever. If you do a lot of SRT work, a lot of long ascents, and you have this strapped to you, you barely notice. And over the course of a day, that makes a big difference. I was surprised. What difference it made. And this is pretty quiet too. It has to be said. All right, it is a gas motor. You still have to, start it up and rev it up, and it ticks over, unlike the Husqvarna, which doesn't tick over. But it's quiet, and it just seems a lot less offensive to listen to, than the bigger models like the 201 and the 540. So really for me it was a question of I should point out as well, this little piercing bar with a tiny chain on it is just so it makes a fantastic finishing cut, which is a big part of pruning, is having an accurate finishing cut, no sort of little tears around the edges. And this is has the same finish, almost the same finish as what a handsaw does. And if you've been pruning trees for a long time, you'll know that, the recovery of a part of a tree, well, I shouldn't say recovery, I'd say the weight is able to tolerate, being wounded by a chainsaw. It can make a big difference to the actual finishing cut. If you go back and you do the same trees, sort of 3-5 yearly, you'll know the difference. But anyway, my dilemma is the quietness of the Husqvarna worth $600? Is this going to make me more productive? And the answer was no for me. So I went with the Stihl, and it's been superb. I would like one of these too, but I can't justify that sort of money at the moment. The one thing I will say about this is that it is more powerful than the 150. At least that's what I've found. The stock models without being modified. You can use the full length of the bar compared to the full length of the bar of the Stihl, and the Stihl will bog down quicker. While the Husqvarna does seem to have more torque, it can sort of, it'll progress faster through the wood without bogging down. So yeah, the Stihl was my choice, and I'm really, I've been really pleased with it. So yeah, I may get Husqvarna in the future. I would like one. This isn't mine, it's one that I've borrowed for a couple of jobs and for the purpose of this video. But for me it was the 150. I'm really pleased with that saw, and if you think it won't make a difference, having this, you know, the reduction in weight, if you think it's not going to make a significant difference from, say, a 201, then I think you're wrong, because it you know, well, depending on what, you've got to remember, it's not a takedown, so it's just for pruning. But I tell you what, it's an absolute dream to use, and they've done a great job with this model. They've done a great job with both saws, but for value for money, for me, this was the money best spent. So I can just see on the video I've got 1 minute and just under a minute or over a minute left of memory card, and I should just touch on a previous comparison test that I did between the 540 and the 201T. Some people thought it was funny. Some people got offended who were obviously quite passionate about a particular brand. For me, there was no more fitting end for that saw, the 201, the model that I had. It was absolutely rubbish, and I didn't really appreciate being misled by certain Stihl reps that I got the saw from, who assured me that it was all this and that, and that it was an improvement on its predecessor across the board, which was just not true. You know, now whether they took it upon themselves to do that, or whether they were told to say that from higher up, I don't know. I just appreciate a bit more honesty. You know, I think it's still a great brand. They've done some great saws over the years, but that 201 was a big letdown. I thought ergonomically it was very good. Fuel consumption was great, but it's no good if it's so painfully underpowered that it's making the job dangerous, you know, and that you have to approach and work trees in a very sort of timid manner, you know, for fear that the saw can't actually, you know, when you're cutting through limbs or tops and it can't actually keep up with the pull of gravity that it has on the tree, you know. So things start to move and fold and break and tear before you've actually made your cut. So you have to change your whole style of climbing. So that's what that was about. Don't, you know, people shouldn't take it to heart. That was my saw, my Stihl, and that's why I fucking drove over it, because it was shit. So, you know, if you've had a good 201, then great. But I wasn't so lucky. Anyway, I'm about to run out of time. So